Hi, my name is Jason Franklin, and I'm the presenter for the College Bound seminars. I wanted to put together this video to explain the seminars in a little more detail. First, why was this seminar even important? It's not the 80s. I went to high school in the 80s. Back then, you could work a summer job and pay for college. You can't work a summer job and pay for college on your own anymore. Right now, for a high school student in the 21st century, going to college means being 17 years old and buying a house and a car on the same day. I wouldn't want my 17-year-old doing that without parental involvement and guidance through this entire process. College is a huge financial investment with no guarantee of return. We want to make sure students do it in the right way, and the families know their role in helping their student come to the right decision on where to attend college and how much to pay for college. Next, college costs are ridiculous. They have skyrocketed. In the last 30 some years, college costs have gone up over 1,000%. Let me repeat that again. Since about 1978, the cost of a college education degree has gone up over 1,000%. Again, money plays a huge factor in what students should do once they leave high school. And parents, we have to help students understand that. Next, college debt is the top debt category in the United States of America. We have too many students graduating from college with over $100,000 in college debt with very little job prospects. I don't want that to happen to your student. College is a business. It wasn't that way in the 20th century. College back then really was a community service. It really was about higher learning. But it has changed. There is so much money that flows through colleges every year. And parents, students, you have to protect yourself. This is a business world. This is a business environment. It's about money, and you have to make sure that you protect your money, or you will end up paying way too much for your education. And the number one reason why I do these seminars is, for years, hundreds of parents asked me to put together a seminar to share what I had learned from working with thousands of families who have successfully gone through the entire process. Let me explain. I have been teaching AC Prep classes since 1995. I have had the privilege of personally working with over 11,000 students. But most of my students, when they came through my ACT classes, were high school juniors. Well, when they went on to their senior year, I would get phone calls and emails from students and parents asking me various questions about the college process. Not only did I get phone calls with questions, but I also had parents and students give me feedback on what they were learning. And as I would hear similar things from families who didn't know each other and from students who didn't know each other, I started recognizing these changes and patterns and started implementing these little things into my ACT classes. But my ACT classes focus on my ACT classes. I can't cover the entire spectrum of the college bound process in just a few minutes here and there. So I would share various aspects, and through the course of the years, students would share those little aspects with their parents. And so parents would call and want more information. And so finally I gave in. I gathered all the information I had learned over the years and put together these college-bound seminars. They were a big success. And then what would happen is, at these college-bound seminars, through the FAQ sections, I would learn even more about what parents needed to know, and that kept making the seminars grow and become more and more popular, and more importantly, more effective in regards to helping families, and particularly students, save money on the cost of college. That's why I do these seminars. Now, this is the schedule of a seminar. They will be on Saturdays. We start promptly at 9 a.m. So before then, get there a little bit early, check in. There'll be coffee and bagels available for you. Then, for the first hour and 45 minutes will be session one. Then we'll do a 15-minute Q&A section dealing with things pertaining to session one. Then there'll be a 1-hour lunch break on your own. We always have the seminar located in a facility that's within literally minutes of restaurants and fast food places. So you can get some food, come back, and more importantly, that hour gives you the opportunity just to think and reflect about the things that were discussed in the first session. Then we'll come back and we'll do session 2 for an hour and 45 minutes. Then we'll have a 15-minute Q&A period. At that point, people are more than welcome to leave. I will stay and continue to answer questions as long as people have questions. In the seminar, session 1, we will cover these topics. First, the new reality of college graduates and increases in college costs by the numbers. You need to see the numbers and how much it's changed just since the beginning of this century. Next, how long it actually takes to get a 4-year degree. A 4-year degree doesn't take 4 years anymore, and we want to make sure your student gets done in 4 years or less. Next, avoiding the lower value aspects of college. There are things on every college campus that are not worth it. We want to make sure your student knows what to avoid and then how to maximize their dollars. Next, how to lower costs with community colleges, dual credit classes, and AP exams. You don't have to start saving money on college when you go to college. There are things a student can do in high school that will lower the cost of college, and these three things are a big part of that. Next, how ACT scores are used to determine scholarship amounts. This test is a big deal. This is why I teach ACT prep classes. This is a test about money. I have had students go through my classes and a point here or a point there literally increase their scholarships $20,000, $25,000, $30,000. It's a big deal, and parents need to understand how colleges are using that test score. Next, where does most scholarship money come from, and more importantly, how do we find that money? Then we'll talk about local scholarships. A lot of people overlook these. You want your students to take advantage of any local scholarships that are available in your area. Next, how to find merit-based scholarships. This is something families must do, but the good news, students have access to the internet. This is something that's very doable, achievable, and you can't wait when a student's a senior to start this process. There are things they can do before their senior year. Then we'll end session 1 talking about FAFSA. This is probably the most confusing part for a lot of families because there's so much misinformation out there about FAFSA and how it's used and what FAFSA can do for you. So we want to make sure we get those myths cleared up. Then we'll have our lunch break. Then we'll come to session 2. Session 2 focuses more on the student, what the student needs to be doing and what colleges are going to want from the student. So we'll start off by talking about questions that families need to go through together with their student to create these parameters that will help create a college selection list. Once we've done that, then we'll talk about the objective measures in the application process. Things colleges need to know about students. Then we'll talk about personal statements and essays. Too many students do not do these correctly. Next, we'll talk about letters of recommendations. So personal statements and essays are students writing stories about themselves. Letters of recommendations, which are very important, are other people writing stories about your student. We'll talk about resume portfolios. I will give you examples of these. Most students in America don't do these, but these are one of the little things that help separate your student from other students. Then we'll talk about the importance of individual visits. I'm not talking about a typical college visit, which is a group visit. I'm talking about individual visits, and there's a way to do these correctly that will give your student an advantage. We'll talk about negotiating with patients. I see this every year. Seniors just want to rush and make a decision. Well, guess what? Rushing can lead to you spending way too much money. Patience truly is a virtue. Then we'll end by giving you a basic college-bound timeline, almost like a step. I'll start from the end of a student's sophomore year and go all the way through their senior year. Okay, and then we'll end with the importance of May 1st. This is a universal deadline for most colleges on when students have to make a decision on whether or not they're going to attend a particular school, and as well as to accept or reject scholarships. And this goes along with the patience. There's a value to waiting until May 1st. Now, the seminar fees for one parent, it's $75. If a parent comes with their spouse, then it's $85. Students are free. I want you to bring your students. At the end of the seminar, I have families fill out evaluation forms. And families who don't bring their students typically say they wish they had. And families who did say they are so glad they did. And that's one advantage we have learned from families that have attended about the lunch break. That 1 hour lunch break gives the opportunity for parents to talk to their students about things they heard in the first session. This is really a team effort, and students need to understand what their parents' role is in the process, and parents need to understand what their role is in regard to helping their students through making this college-bound decision. The fees cover the materials that you will receive at the seminar. So what do you receive? All families receive the following. You will receive a packet like this, a folder, and in it you will have a seminar guide. And what the seminar guide is, it's all my notes that are already typed out for you. That way you don't have to worry about copying things down. I want you just to be able to sit there and just listen while I am talking. You will pick up a bag that looks like this, and in the bag you will get a book. It's a 200-page plus page book that I wrote about the seminar topics, but goes into much greater detail. We also learned from the first few years we did this that a lot of families did tend to come without their students. So we hired a professional filming crew out of Champaign-Urbana next to the University of Illinois to come out and actually create a DVD for us, DVD of one of our live seminars. That way, if a student is unable to attend, you can watch the DVD with the seminar. Now, my seminar material does change as college changes, but the DVD will have about 85-90% of material that will cover in the actual seminar. If your spouse can't attend, again, they would receive 85 to 90% of the material that was in the actual seminar. We also have a CD set, because if you're like me, I drive over 40,000 miles every year for my ACT classes. I listen to a lot of CDs and a lot of radio. So if you drive a lot, this would be a good opportunity to hear everything that was discussed in the actual seminar. In the folder that you will receive, you'll also get copies of personal statements and resume portfolios. Here's a copy of someone's personal statement. Resume portfolios that look like this from my former students who have graciously given us permission to share these. Students and parents like examples of personal statements on this is what a college application essay should look like, and I give you a variety because sometimes colleges have different topics. So that will give you a good place to start and a good feel for what a student should be accomplishing in their process. This is an example of a resume portfolio that will be discussed in session 2. I will discuss this in greater detail, but I want you to have a copy of some former students so you have an idea of what your students' resume portfolio should look like. You're going to get a framework. Again, every school is different. Every student is different. Every family is different. But this is a framework that's been a very successful path that tens of thousands of families in Central Illinois have used to get through this process successfully and then really feel good at the end of that process. And if you come to this seminar, I guarantee you're going to learn how to save at least $10,000 on college costs if you just use a few of the things that we're going to discuss. And again, this is why I do the seminar. Okay, I want your student to go to college and graduate with as little debt as possible. And that's what this seminar is all about. So hopefully you're able to attend the seminar, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.